Jewelers, guarantee for quality and best exchange value.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of From a Mother to Another. And I am Sandy Banerjee, your host for this show. And this is where you get to hear from moms around the world. So our today's topic is home away from home. And my guests today are not only awesome moms, but they're also sisters. So please join me in welcoming Sharmi and Urmi, the two sisters, to the show. Hello, ladies. How are you?
I'm good,
Hi,
Sandy.
Sandy. Thank
So
you.
good to have you here. Thank
It's
you
a
for
pleasure.
Thank you.
Awesome. So let's get started with a round of introduction. Sharmi?
Yeah, I'm Shormi Biswas. I live in Pittsburgh. I work for PNC Wealth Management Team for last 8 years, and I have a son who is 9 years old.
Awesome. Urmi?
Yeah, hi, I'm Urmi. I live in Boston and I work for a company called Akamai and as a senior software engineer. And I have a son who is 5 years old.
Awesome. So, let's get to the question directly. So every time people move to the US, one of their biggest worry is how can they be connected, remain connected to the family, be it here or back in India, right? And I see you guys do an awesome job of maintaining an extended family in a perfect way. So tell us a little more about it. What are your tips, tricks, anything?
I could start. Is it okay with Shormi?
Yeah.
So when you say perfect, we try to be perfect, but I'm not sure we are there yet. But yes, I think, as you said, like the introduction that you gave that we are two sisters, I think it comes from there, the bond that we cherish. And I think the way we are connected, we are close. We want that to kind of pass on to our kids as well, so that, they also understand the value of family and extended family, not just, mom and dad. But I think it takes a village to raise a child, right?
Absolutely.
So I think when we were kids, right, I think our grandparents, our uncles, our aunts, our cousins had a lot to play in our overall development. So I think that is a key motivation of, why we want it. And, we try our best, like, to make this a priority. And Shormi, do you want to add?
Yeah. So I don't call like us like extended family Urmi. My son knows that we are family of 6. So wherever I go, like, Kian introduced himself like I have a baby brother. So everybody was like, oh, where is he? He's in Boston. So yeah, so everybody knows, like, like we are like family of 6. So, and as Urmi told before, we make our priority, like, we have to keep ourselves together. So
yeah, definitely. And that's the reason, like, we make sure, like, if like we are like, she lives in Pittsburgh and I live in Boston. It's quite a distance, and thankfully, like, we are still in the East Coast. So we try to make, like, every long weekends, or say any kind of vacation, like, the spring break or summer vacation, right? I think it is very important for us that, we spend those time together. We plan our vacations together. And I think all of these things, gives an opportunity for our kids also to feel that, they have a family out here. And as she said, like, we always regard ourselves as a family of 6. And Kian and Zian, as you can say the name also, like, we wanted to, have the names, kind of, so that they can relate to each other. So, and it's, I think it's a success in the way when they call themselves brothers and not cousins. And when the teachers and my friends and others like, oh, you know what? Oh, Zian has a brother named Kian, right? I think that tells by itself. So yes, we try. Whether it's perfect, that we are not sure. But yes, we do make it a effort and make it a priority that, we have to be together. We belong together. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, was it different when the kids were infants or babies, and was it challenging? I'm sure it was. If it was challenging, how did you overcome those challenges?
So I would say, like, Shormi used to live in New York City when Kian was born, and it was a blessing, I would say, distance-wise, because it was just 3 hours away from Boston, and every other weekend, we used to be there, and I think that made it, like, very easy for Kian when he kind of, started growing up, to kind of, seeing our faces and seeing that, we are always there.
Right.
And I think it's the same, like, of course, like, being babies, and when she kind of moved to Pittsburgh, the distance really played a very big role. But I think we made that effort. I knew for my sister it was difficult to travel, but I made sure, like, once a month I made a trip to Pittsburgh. And when Zian was born, like, it was same with me. Like, I couldn't travel that much, but I think she made sure, like, just to, be there, and to make sure that, Zian feels that, there is a family around. And the other example I would like to give, like, when Zian was born, Kian was here with us for about a month and a half. So when he was like 7 days old, I think we wanted, and it was a decision from, like, both our side as well, of course, Shormi and Partho, that, they let Kian to be away from his parents. He was just 3.5 years old that time,
Right.
but he was there, and he was there for a month and a half, and that also gave him that, build up that, the brotherly feeling,
Sure.
and to care for a sibling kind of a thing. Uh,
Right.
yeah.
And same with Zian too. So whenever like we have like summer vacation, they have summer vacation. I plan to take some days off, and my parents visit from India. So we make sure Zian also comes and stays with us, so that he also get the same feeling. Like we
Right.
my ma, she means my aunt is just like my another mother. So yeah,
Right.
so
R-
it's a either
Right.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, since you talked about summer vacation, and I remember growing up in India, the summer vacations where you go to your, aunts or your maternal uncles or aunts' place and spend it. How do you guys do that here? And I have seen it firsthand, so I'll say it's impressive how you guys do that. Can you talk a little more about that? How do you plan? You guys both work, you four of you work, right? So you have to plan it around your busy schedule. How do you do that?
Yes. So, as you said, like, planning the vacation and plan, like, I think we kind of adjust, like, like the time that I'm taking off. Obviously, we say that, we'll spread it out so that, Shormi takes like, she takes her turn. So, yes, planning is key. And I think being, loving to spend time together, doing activities with them is something that we absolutely love. And the other thing we would say is a blessing is, like, my parents can still travel from India to US, and summertime, like, I think when they are here, and they take their turns, obviously, to stay in Pittsburgh and Boston. So we make sure, like, we the kids have that bonding with their grandparents, so that, even though we are working, like, when like, they are in Pittsburgh, like, I send Zian along with them. So then Zian feels absolutely comfortable there. And at the same time, right, when say, my parents are here in Boston, then Kian comes over, and that, they have a good quality time to spend together. I think, that is how we try to make it work. And as I said, like, everything comes with a cost. Like, you have to compromise somewhere, and you have to kind
Right.
of prioritize it. And I think being with family has been a priority in our family.
Yeah, so we make sure, like, we summer means like you have a family time. Like
Right.
it's like inbuilt in both of the boys, like, oh, summer is coming. So I got to spend time in Boston and Pittsburgh.
Right.
So they really look forward to it. So this year we planned that they are going to go to the same summer camp, fingers crossed. So yeah, that's how we try to like adjust our schedule. Yeah.
Okay. Good. So tell me this: how do you figure out, or how do you work disagreements between the two of you, right? So I grew up with a sister, so I know till now I'm like, every time we are on phone, we are fighting, and then it's always like that, right, with sisters. So is there any kind of disagreement? I'm sure there are a lot of times, and how do you handle those kind of things?
You
Yeah,
want to go?
should I go? Say,
Yeah,
okay.
you should.
Okay. See, we agreed on that. Yeah, I think like any sibling, as you said, we do fight. I mean, there are little things like, I think we actually, now that we have been together for so long, we know each other's characteristics. We know each other like so well that it's almost like we can predict what, the each other could say, right? But at the same time, I think with that, like we have that affection, we have that love between us. So I think we do disagree on things, and maybe we fight and we hang up the phone, but the next morning it's like, oh, it's as if it's nothing happened. And obviously, we, like with our age, we do try to rationalize things as to what is it that we were trying to communicate, where the flaws were. And also, like, we also give that space, saying that, oh, you know what, this is something very typical of her, and we accept each other the way we are. I think that is something that we have learned. And yeah, that is my take on it.
Yeah, I also feel the same way. Like, sisters, they are, yeah, we are meant to fight, but thing is that we give space to each other, and yeah, means everything comes to like from love. I think the fighting also comes out from love too. Like, she is kind of like my little sister, and she's overprotective, and I means I'm also the same with
Yeah,
her too.
she,
So
like, let us put it that way, she's nicer than me. I'm not that nice.
no, I don't want to tell. No, it's not like you are a different person, I'm a different person. So but again, we are sisters. We are there for each other, no matter what it is. Like, Sandy, you know very well.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So let's switch gear and let's talk a little more about, motherhood issues here, stuffs, let's say. So I asked this to all moms in my show. How do you balance work and, kids and anything except work, right? Because I ask this to every mom because I feel that each mom has their own way of dealing things, and if the viewers can learn from or listen to different experiences, they could gather different kind of experiences, learn from them, or implement anything in their lives. So I want each of you to weigh in. So Sharmi.
I know it's like since I'm stuck at home right now, working from home. So in PNC, the area I work from, I get a very little option to work from home. So then, like, due to the COVID situation, we had to wrap up like things and set up our desk at home and started working. Since then, I felt like how important it is to balance your work and your daily life, because I feel like I overdo. I need a pause button. Then I feel like, okay, there's so much pending work. Shall I go and sit? Then I tell myself, no, I'm not going to do that. So definitely, balancing your work and your like daily life is very important. So yeah, that's how, like, I feel like you have to have a pause button. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Urmi, how about you?
Yeah, so I agree to that as well. I think you have to, again, like, know how to kind of maintain the balance. For me also, I feel like, okay, obviously we want to be the best moms, and at the same time we have our career aspirations, right? We want to be like, successful. But at the same time, right, I actually make a hard stop. Like, for example, like, oh, I have to leave at 4 because because I have to go pick up my son and take him to his activities. So I think I make that a priority as well. So obviously it's very hard. Like, there are times when I struggle. There's so much of work, and there's, again, your child needs your attention. But yes, for me, I think my priorities are both, and I try to kind of, maintain that balance. Of course, there are some compromises I do have to make, but I'm happy to make that. And things gets a little bit better when your kids grow up. I think the last 5 years have been very challenging. Like, there are a lot of things which I wanted to do, but I said, you know what, this is not my priority right now, like career wise as well. So I was like, I made the choice. I was like, you know what, let me give that, like, this is a time where it's very essential to be there for my kid. And that's the reason, like, there are so many things which I thought I would be like doing, but I don't regret that. That is a choice. And it's also that, you have to feel happy about what you're doing. I mean, don't compromise, or don't be miserable with your choices. So obviously
That's very
we'll struggle,
important.
but then pick your battle. Pick what makes you happy. And obviously, like I wouldn't say that I'm perfect, but that is what I'm still struggling. I'm still learning. But yes, like we try. Like we have to keep trying.
Right. And I think you mentioned a very important point about, be happy with the choices you make, right? That is very, very important. Like any choice you make, you have to be happy or you have to live with it, right? So that's important, I think, for everyone.
Oh,
As
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me one thing. How do you guys include fitness in your daily schedule? Because I know both of you are very focused on that, and which is really good, especially at this time, right? When we are starting, that would be helpful for your mental health too, right? So tell me, how do you guys do that and incorporate that in your daily schedule?
So, okay, you want to start?
It's okay. You go ahead.
So the thing is that I actually got my own bike like a few days ago. I go biking with my son, and then with my colleagues, I do like the Fitbit challenges, like yoga class, and with my friends also I do the same thing. And I can't go back to the rowing team which PNC have. I'm looking forward for that. And I do take a walk in my neighborhood for like an hour. So it's not only like makes you feel good. It's actually uh, what do you call, refresh your mind and your body, and and you feel so good after that. And yeah, and I make sure my son also does with me, so we motivate each other.
Right. So you do it in a group, like whether it's family, with friends, and that motivates you.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Urmi?
Yeah, so I do hit the gym. Like now that I'm stuck at home, my basement is my gym right now. And I think, as Shorby kind of said, right? I think exercise, like freshens your mind. I feel like if I exercise, I'm more productive, and it's so important for you to be healthy, right? So that the rest of the family is healthy. And
Exactly.
as she said, like having those things, kind of inculcated in your kids is also important. So yes, like for me, I think gym works better because I get motivated. But as she's saying that we have now Zoom classes, right, with our fitness centers, so we do that. But yes, like evenings, like after work, I like really kind of look forward to. I can't work out every day, but as I get time, like with the wellness that our company also provides, they also provide like similar things like yoga and stuff. I do that, and I do like to do HIIT. So yes, like that has been a part of my life for last few years, and I see the benefits, and I really there are days I don't want to, but yes, I then kind of motivate myself and try to get back on track.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to be motivated, especially now, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So if I could ask you, like, what is one challenge of motherhood overall, even right now, let's say right now, what would that be? Any one challenge that you want to find out?
I think balancing is definitely like doing everything. Like we all want to be perfect mothers, and at times like I feel so guilty that I'm not being able to do as much as I want to. I think that is a constant guilt. I'll tell you, like every day, like I will do something. Like there are meetings, like especially now with us, all three of us home, and like my husband has meetings, I have my meetings, and then my son is like, oh, both are having meetings, so what do I do? And he's at an age where he needs attention too. And sometimes I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, what, when I'm having a meeting, you're not supposed to be not enter the room, and obviously he forgets and he comes in, that's fine. But yes, I think that is a challenge, balancing out and not feel guilty about the choices that you're making. I think that is a constant, and you always want to be like, oh, I need to give more time to my kid, and you feel guilty. I think that is a challenge. I think balancing is still something that I'm like trying to work at, so that I don't feel guilty.
Sure. Sharmi, how about you?
Yeah, I feel the same like Urmi, but sometimes I feel like my son is over matured, so it's a challenge for me to deal with over mature kids.
Kind of challenge.
Yeah, so Yeah, and balancing is definitely, you have to prioritize like when, what, this, that. So,
Right. Um, so tell me, what are you ladies doing during this time to remain connected, right? Everything, you can't travel to each other. I'm sure you're missing very important milestones for each other at this time, right? And we don't know how the days would be even in summer. So what are you guys doing to make sure that, the kids especially are connecting? You guys, I'm sure you are connecting more, but how about the kids? How do you remain
Yeah.
connected?
So the thing is like, so as like every day, like we make it a point, and it's not just because of the COVID situation that
Mhm.
we make the kids connect. So there is a time every day that those two connect and they talk to each other. And
Wow.
now that they're home, they are connect. I think Messenger Kids are great. It's a great app. I think they get to connect with each other and play video games and all of those things. And I think that is like virtually, like mostly, as you said, like for us, we
Right.
have missed a lot of
Sure.
milestones. Like we missed Kian's birthday this year,
Mm.
and then, as you said, the long weekends. We
Right.
had the April vacation. We couldn't go for a vacation that time, obviously. But yes, I think virtually, and thanks for technology, I think that is kind of helping them connect more often.
Sure.
And I think they are getting a little more time because now that they're home and their schools are like off, like, oh, even though they have in Zoom classes, but the
Right.
activities and all, they are kind of everything is home, like doing through Zoom and other things, and that gives them the little more time. So
Right.
yes, we are missing out on the physical, physically being together, but obviously the technology is kind of filling the gap a little.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Right. No. Yeah. Do you want to add something, Sharmi?
yeah, like mostly with the Zoom and like FaceTime, and then like we try like Bhai is baking a cookie. Want to try that? Like, oh, then Kian, yes, I can make a mug cake. So they make
So
together. They share pictures together. They
that
play
is so
video
awesome,
games.
huh?
Yeah, so Kian plans like his daily schedule, like what Bhai should do from morning to
Oh my
evening.
God! Really
So yeah,
awesome.
and Zian tries to follow that. So yeah, so they are
See,
very
that's
very
why I keep
connected.
saying I'm always surprised how you guys make it look so easy.
Yeah,
It is
so
not, I'm
yeah,
sure,
so it's
but
kind
you
of
guys, right?
inbuilt it with in our kids too. So Kian knows like if I have a routine, I make sure my bhai have a routine too. So
Okay. Oh my God,
Yeah,
that's
and Zian kind of looks up to Kian always. Like he's always curious about what Dada is doing, and Kian is also like very much like, oh, you have to do these things, and he takes it as a response. As you know, he's a very mature guy, so he takes on the responsibility. Oh, I have a like baby brother, and I have to kind of
sure.
make sure that he does the right thing. I think that is
Right.
there. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. That's so great. So before I let you guys go, I had one last question. So, what would be your one advice to moms who are, basically having challenges maintaining their bonds back in, say, back in India or back here, especially, moms who have moved to US or any other countries from India. These are kind of challenges that they face or they fear, right? Like, will they be connected to families back in India, or will they be connected to their cousins? And so what is one advice that you want to give to those moms?
I'll let Shormi go first.
yeah, so try your best like to get connected to your families. It will come. It will come instantly. You don't have to like, yeah, so you have to get that connection, then it will
Right.
flow in. So,
Right.
you know, that's one advice.
Yeah,
And keep
I
trying,
think
keep
like
trying.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think to add to that, like as she said, like making it a priority. For example, our parents are back in India. They miss out on so many things, right? They can't see the
Sure.
kids growing up in front of their eyes, right? But what we do is like they have a dedicated time every day to check on, on their grandparents. They connect, like like they like talk about how their day went, and what is the different projects they work on. They feel so excited to show it to them, right? At
Mhm.
the same time, our parents are like they want to kind of somehow make them part of their lives in India. Like for
Right.
example, my mom and dad gets up really early because they want to catch them before
Knock.
bedtime.
Right.
And at that time, like, oh, you know what, see, you can see the sunrise from the terrace of our house. And they're like, oh really, show us.
Ah.
And things like, oh, you can hear the cuckoo bird singing, right? And they're like, oh, can I hear that? I mean, all those things, I think you have to, like, I know, like, everybody tries to maintain that. This is not like, perfect advice or something. It's something that really works for us. Is that make that a priority, make it like a habit, or make it, like, have the dedicated time set, so that, make that call, make that connection. Because unless you, and thanks to technology again, now that you can see things, they can really relate to it. For example, if my, like, dad is coughing or something, they like, oh grandpa, you need to go to the doctor, right? So we try as much as possible, knowing that they're not here. But yes, like, making it a priority and setting aside some time, dedicated time, and that really works.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for being here. I had an awesome time chatting with you guys, and I'm sure you have shared a lot of good experience and inputs that the viewers can use to get connected to their family.
Thank you, Sandy, for this opportunity. It was a pleasure. And kudos to you for doing this. I think it's absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks, Sandy. Thank you so much for bringing us in. Thank you. Yeah. You have a good night.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.